Science fiction is woke, and it has always been. Yes, yes it is. You've just never noticed because no one told you to notice before. There are some words and trends that go so viral and are so common on social media and on mainstream media as well that it is difficult not to notice them, even if you try very, very hard not to. And well, sadly, sometimes I love a bit of drama. And there is nothing that fills me more than sad drama by sad, wannabe, wistfully ignorant alpha males who have never done anything else than following the trends set by other sad, willfully ignorant, wannabe alpha males. And one of the trends of the past few years is to say that science fiction has gone woke. Because, well, you understand, there is a black woman captaining the Enterprise now in Discovery. There is a black woman in Foundation. No, wait, there's two of them. There is a black man playing the Doctor. The Doctor! And there are non-white and even women writers winning awards. The world truly has gone to shit. Well, yes, it has. But not because of white men not having every single role or publishing gigs. And yes, I'm going a bit away from just books in this video because, well, it helps my point, and science fiction is anyway way larger than just books. The funny thing to start off is I have never really come across a proper definition of what woke really is. I know it is used as an insult just like SJW, social justice warrior, was back in like the 2020s, to define someone who is not a conservative and thus someone who is more open to questions about racism, sexism, transphobia, homophobia, and so on. So I went to the Merriam-Webster website and I found a definition. Aware of and actively attentive to import societal facts and issues, especially issues of racial and social justice. Often used in contexts that suggest someone expressed beliefs about such matters are not backed with genuine concern or action. Alright, so there we go, now we can start off with something. And it is true that until very recently, science fiction as a whole has always been seen as a pure white male hobby, supported by the biggest role in different franchises being led by men, aka Luke Skywalker or James Testosterone Kirk. And the biggest science fiction writers or creators that were mainstream were mostly men, like Isaac Asimov, Stephen King, Edic, George Lucas, or Denis Villeneuve. This is forgetting that science fiction is a very old genre created by women. The very first commonly accepted to be a science fiction novel was created by a woman, Margaret Cavendish, and was published in 1666, called The Blazing World. And if you don't count utopias as science fiction, you should, but if you want to be wrong, then it would be Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. Yes, Gothic literature can also be science fiction, and this one definitely is. You will tell me now that fantasy, well, it was originated by a man. And it is true, Tolkien is the father of modern fantasy. And the main authors in the genre are mostly men, Terry Pratchett, for example. But also C.S. Lewis or Brandon Sanderson, if you want to be a bit more modern. But also it is not completely true, we've seen this in previous videos. Men are heavily biased towards men writers. And also all of this is also untrue because, well, you forgot the point of the genre as a whole. Science fiction is a genre that aims to describe the future of human civilization. Extrapolating about the progression of science, thinking about the genre with a conservative mindset is literally going against the very core of the genre. I will be back to books shortly, but I just want to talk about the Star Trek effect just to show how deeply wrong people are about the new sci-fi shows being woke nonsense. TOS, the original series back in the 60s, was a marvel of wokeness. Sure, the captain was a white man, but he was pretty obviously into his second-in-command, and I mean, yes, who can blame him? Look at his sexy ears. And yes, for people who didn't know that, there is a lot of homosexual subtext between Kirk and Spock. And it is not veiled, it is very out there. We've watched the show like 2 months ago, it is very out there. But we also have a Japanese pilot, Hikaru Solo, again back in the 60s. A Russian dude, Pavel Chekhov, is mostly in charge of the weapons, again back in the 60s. And we cannot forget Naota Uhura, who is a calm lady and the ultimate icon for every single black woman actress out there, and who also got the first kiss between a white man and a black woman on TV. And sure, it was a kiss forced by a telepath, but still. And I am only talking about TOS here because all the old Star Trek series had a slot of women and POC characters and stories, starting with none other than Majel Barrett, who was Star Trek's creator's wife. This woman literally created TNG, which aired in 1987, the second Star Trek show. On top of playing a lot of different roles in the franchise, mainly Nurse Chapel in TOS, but also Luxana Troy in TNG and all the computers up until her death. Next Generation shows again two white dudes in command, but first of all, one of them is bald. But there is also a blind black man as an engineer, 3 white women in high posts of command, a chief of security, a chief medical officer, and a counselor, and a black actor as a Klingon officer. So again, a very diverse cast. DS9, airing in 1993, presented the very first black captain, with 2 women officers, one of them being shown as transgender, with an Arabic chief medical officer who is pretty clearly enamored with an alien dude, and with an Irish dude as well. There is a little throuple going on there. Voyager in 1995 shows a woman captain with 2 POC officers, a black Vulcan as a second, and a Native American as a third, I guess. There's also a Klingon woman and an Asian dude who never got promoted, RIP. And Enterprise in 2001 sure had 2 male characters were white, but there is also a Vulcan woman, an Asian linguist, and a black chief engineer again. So with all of that, excuse me if I don't cry my eyes out because there is a black woman in Discovery. I couldn't care less about this. I've seen this literally like 60 years ago. Plus, and I've looked for it, I did not see anyone crying about Alien or Terminator being led by women when they came out. And I, again, looked for it. Why nowadays a young woman in Alien Romulus is enough to make people have a meltdown? Go figure. TV break closed. Women and POCs have always been very involved in the creation of science fiction books, with very big names like Ursula K. Le Guin, Sherry Steper, Jenna Ross, James Tiptree, Connie Willis, Nicola Griffith, Maureen McHugh, C.J. Sherry, Pat Cadigan, Octavia Butler, Margaret Atwood, or Gwyneth Jones. It shouldn't be a surprise that we still have women and POCs writers right now in the good old 2000s, like Chambers, Leckie, Hurley, Jamieson, Zitzin, Chandrasekhara, Wells, or Okorafor. They were always there, you just didn't know that because you are uneducated about the genre. And again, it is proven that men don't go out for women writers nearly as much. We've seen that before in the other video. They and men as well, of course, have always written about women, POC characters, LGBTQ characters, or even disabled characters. Hell, in the 60s, Marvel was criticized for its very diverse superheroes, but we can talk about Dune, for fuck's sake, for example, which has a lot of non-white characters and women characters. Delany is remarkable for his gay and non-white characters as well. The Culture series has a lot of transgender aliens. The Expanse has a very diverse cast as well, from disabled people from POCs to gay people, just like the Mars series and the Revelation Space series. And the list goes on and on and on. And sure, a lot of the main characters were men, but a lot of them were also women, or women in position of mentorship or control of power. Books with a cast of only male characters existed, sure, and they should exist, I guess. I have nothing against them. But saying that it was always for white men in the first place is plainly false. Here are 2 little lists from the Hugo Awards won by women before the 2000s and the Nebula Awards won by women before the 2000s. So you can see that a lot of them were won by women way before the whole woke nonsense shit going on social media right now. I think this strange controversy comes from multiple points. One, science fiction and fantasy are becoming extremely mainstream, more than ever, especially with social media. And it is getting incredibly easy to find works from all over the world, and not just by British or American dudes who were, I guess, the main representation for the masses and the mainstream media, for people who didn't really know anything about the genre before. We have now the works of Ted Chiang, of Liu Cixin, or Chandrasekhara, or Okorafor that are now able to shine next to the works of Baxter or Heinlein, for example, leading to the impression that white men are becoming underrepresented, or at least less represented, which is not the case, as we have previously established in my male book loneliness video and in this video. 2 popular science fiction works are being presented and adapted onto screens. And there is a lot of controversy surrounding choice of cast, namely white characters or male characters becoming black or women or whatever, forgetting that skin color or gender oftentimes have no bearing on the character as a whole. Like, it definitely doesn't change anything for a lot of characters, whether they are women or white or men or black, for example. It doesn't really mean anything because it is not the main problem of the characters. Ariel, for example, where we don't really care if she's black or not because she is a mermaid. She like, her skin color doesn't have a bearing on her life in general. Jim in The Expanse, for example, could have been black or Asian for all we care. It doesn't mean anything in his story. On the contrary, Sadavir in the same Expanse series was normally an Indian guy in the book, and it had been changed to a white guy in the show. It doesn't really mean anything because his skin color or his origin have absolutely no bearing in the story. Literally no one cares what Sadavir looks like in the book or where he's coming from. It has absolutely no point in the story at all. And 3, and we talked about this in the previous video, but there seems to be a growing trend of men being completely unable to empathize with a character that is not like them. Because sure, they can empathize with a man with spider powers, jumping from building to building to save people, I guess, a multi-millionaire genius creator just because they have a penis, but empathizing with a black woman who is living through similar political and environmental crisis in the US is asking too much because she doesn't have a penis. Go figure. For a little reminder, and I'm going to use my computer for this, today around 60% of the population is of Asian descent, 17% of African descent, 8% South American, 5% European, and 4% North American, and 49% of the population are women. So it would be pretty normal to showcase more not white, non-men writers and characters, right? Because white men are not the norm. Also, around 80% of the population is heterosexual, so there is a lot to be done with the 20% left. Go sisters. And at the end of the day, I think it just shows, again, a lack of curiosity and knowledge about the genre. Why are you talking about the genre you don't know in the first place? Sure, the very most popular writers are white men. I have nothing against that. I love my white men writers, right? I mean, you can see them right behind me. But some people should really branch out of the golden trio that is Asimov, Clarke, and Heinlein. I mean, it's been 60 years now. Get something else. And don't get me wrong, they are fantastic writers. I love their books. Just like I love other white dudes like Tchaikovsky, Baxter, Reynolds, and Watts. But there is so much more to that very old genre, whose whole point is to be ahead of its time. It is so silly and so childish to have a complete meltdown over published writers being something else than white cishet men, or other characters being again not white cishet dudes. At the end of the day, fiction is about something that is not us. And if you can imagine living on a space station being a man, you can imagine living on a space station being a woman. The difficult point in the fiction is living on a space station, not being the other gender. Because again, that is the point of fiction. And again, women have been able to do that for a very long time. Why aren't you able to do that? Science fiction in its essence is about diversity and variety, about accepting someone else being different than us, about learning from others and confronting our worldviews to others. It is not hating white cis men to be for diversity. Hell, I love a cis man in my life that is white. My fiance, he is white, very white. He is from Britain. He's very, very white. But this diversity has always been there. And sure, I think there is a lot to say about media being categorized into boxes like LGBTQ plus literature or whatever. I don't think it is healthy to expect a coming out from every single author or actor out there. I genuinely couldn't care less about your gender or your sexuality when you're writing a story. I don't think it should matter, to be honest. It's cool, like I'm cool with everything. Whatever you want to be and you're happy with that and you don't hurt anyone, genuinely super happy for you. But on the contrary, at the end of the day, who fucking cares about someone's skin color, gender, sexuality? Who cares? I'm not saying everyone should absolutely read only like Asian characters or women authors or LGBTQ plus whatever. I do not care. Legitimately, I do not care. But I am saying if you purposefully avoid these authors or these shows or series or movies, yeah, I think you might have a problem. You might have issues because really, why do you care that much? Again, if you can empathize with Spider-Man, you should be able to empathize with the Parable of the Sower. I don't care. And I know what it is. It's just bots and dog whistles and propaganda. But some people genuinely, legitimately believe that it is a real issue when it really isn't. As I said, science fiction has always been woke. It has always been about these issues. It has always represented a very diverse range of people. And I do not care what you're going to say in the comments. I know what you're going to say. I know you're going to say that it was subtle before, that it was not in your face before. Yes, it was. It has always been. You just didn't have anyone to whisper in your ear that you should see that as a problem. You just had no one to tell you that before. You just didn't. So you didn't see it because no one told you to see it. That's it. And I will sit on that. that's it. If you're going to make that comment, I'm just going to reply with the shrug emoji, because it just shows that you have not seen it before. That's it. And it just shows that you are uneducated and willing to listen to anyone who tells you something that you want to listen to. You just, as I said, uneducated and easy to corrupt and easy to fall for propaganda. And at the end of the day, I'm just very sad for you. That's it. And the worst is that sadly it is working. We see that every single day on social media, grown men crying their eyes out because there is the Black Doctor Who or a Black woman captain on the Enterprise. Yeah, if you really do care about that, I'm so sorry for you. Once again, you have not paid attention and you're just a really sad, silly man. And that's it. I have nothing but pity for you. That's it for me, guys. I hope that you liked this video. I had lots of fun writing it. I did a similar video on my French channel a lifetime ago, and I had lots of fun doing it then, and I had lots of fun doing it now. If you like this video, please like and subscribe and go on my different social media, TikTok, Twitter, GoodReads and Instagram for more of this. And I will see you guys in my next video next week. Can I get a wahoo? Cheers, goodbye.